Welcome back to the Fab Flash. Tonight, we're not just talking about education, we're talking about a system where privilege travels first class and the rest of the country is told to stay home, stay local, and stay limited. India is bleeding brains, and it's not a metaphor anymore. On one hand, our ministers label foreign education a disease. On the other, their children are graduating from Ivy League universities. So what exactly is happening in India? Why is our youth running away from the very country our leaders claim to be building? And more importantly, why is it that those same leaders are quietly buying one-way tickets for their own kids to fly out? Let's begin with the hypocrisy. The former Vice President of India, Jaishankar, said that there is a new disease in this country, the disease of sending your children abroad for education. But what he didn't mention is that his daughter studied at one of the most prestigious business schools in the United States. That's right, University of Pennsylvania. Tuition there is over 70 lakh rupees per year. Around the same time, Amit Shah, the country's home minister, said that people who speak English will soon feel ashamed.
मेरी बात ध्यान से सुनना, हम सब के जीवन में इस देश में अंग्रेजी बोलने वालों को शर्म आएगी, ऐसा समाज का निर्माण अब दूर नहीं है.
A country where English is the language of courts, universities, interviews, and governance, our home minister is shaming it. The irony. His colleagues are sending their children to Harvard, Oxford, Georgetown, and more. And his son, Jaishankar, who we all know, studied at Nirmala University in Ahmedabad, which is English medium. Let's look at the list now. Nirmala Sitharaman's daughter studied at the London School of Economics, LSE. Piyush Goyal's children went to Harvard. External Affairs Minister is Jaishankar's son, Dhruv Jaishankar, who went to Georgetown University. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh's son studied at Leeds in the UK. Again, there are ministers like Dharmendra Pradhan, whose daughter studied law at Tufts University. Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, his daughter attended Oxford. Hardeep Singh Puri, his daughter, went to Warwick University. In fact, Smriti Irani's children are reportedly enrolled in international education systems. The list goes on. This isn't just BJP trend, okay? We're not just talking about one party. Congress hasn't been any better. Rahul Gandhi studied at Harvard for a while and then graduated from Cambridge. Priyanka Gandhi, her children study in the UK. Shashi Tharoor's children studied at Tufts University. K. Chidambaram, son of P. Chidambaram, studied at University of Texas at Austin and then later in Oxford. Across party lines, one thing is clear. Foreign education is not a disease for politicians. It is an inheritance for them. So here's the question that we need to ask. If studying abroad is so shameful, why do your children get a free pass? If English is so dirty, then why are your kids attending institutions where English is not just a language, it is a medium, a culture and currency? Now let's talk numbers. As of 2025, more than 1.8 million Indian students are studying abroad. That's up from 1.3 million in 2024 and just 750,000 in 2022. This is not a trend anymore. It's an exodus. The United States alone has over 3.3 lakh Indian students. Canada has more than 1.3 lakh. The UK has almost a lakh. Australia over 1.1 lakh. Germany around 50,000. And this doesn't even include new rising destinations like Ireland, France, UAE or Singapore. In fact, these numbers can be more. These numbers that we are stating are not exact numbers. These numbers can be more. Why are they leaving? Because they don't see hope here. Because our premier institutions are limited in seats, paralyzed by bureaucracy and stuck in colonial era syllabus. Because caste discrimination, student suicide, infrastructure gaps and government interference are driving them out. Because campus placements can't match global salaries. Government jobs are drying up, private jobs, underpaid and overworked. This is exactly what we call brain drain. And it's not just a loss of talent. It's a transfer of national wealth. In fact, in 2024 alone, Indian students spent over $6 billion on tuition, housing, travel, other expenses abroad. 50,000 crore pumped into foreign economies while our own universities cry for funding. That's not just an education problem, that's an economic leak. And the worst part, most of these students, they don't come back. Our IIT graduates are working for Google and Meta in the US. Our medical students are treating patients in the UK. Our policy experts are joining think tanks in Canada. Our AI researchers are building future tech in Berlin. Meanwhile, our leaders are busy building narratives. Learn your mother tongue. Don't speak English. Don't dream global. Let's talk about English, the language that has suddenly become a political punching bag. Now, India has a population of 1.4 billion people, but only about 10% of Indians are fluent in English. Yet, that 10% controls almost every sector: corporate, legal, academic, media, government. You name it. In fact, in metro cities, English is not a luxury, it is survival. You want a good job, you learn English. You want to be taken seriously in an interview, English. You want to argue in the court, English. You want to write a research paper, English. Even government job application forms are in English. According to the Ministry of Education, over 27% of Indian schools are officially English medium. That number is rising every year, especially in urban and semi-urban areas. Because every parent knows that if your child doesn't speak English, they are already 10 steps behind in this race. So when ministers start villainizing English, what are they really doing? They are drawing a line between the elite and the rest. They are reserving opportunity for the few while gaslighting the majority into thinking that ambition is anti-national. I repeat, ambition is anti-national. This isn't about the love for Hindi or Tamil, Kannada. This isn't about preserving culture. This is about preserving control. English breaks the monopoly. It empowers the underprivileged. It gives voice to the marginalized. And maybe that's what scares them the most. Because the more Indians speak English, the more they will question power, the more they will demand access, the more they will compete globally, and that threatens the status quo. So let's call this what it really is. Not nationalism, not tradition. This is desperate attempt to gatekeep success, to keep world-class education, global exposure, and linguistic power within a small elite circle. A circle where your children go to Oxford and mine are told to memorize Hindi poems in class 5. This is not about pride. It's about power, not about culture, about control. And not about protecting India, but about protecting the privileges of those who govern it. So next time someone calls English shameful, ask where their kids are studying. The next time someone calls foreign education a disease, ask if they have booked their child's flight ticket to the US or UK yet. This was never about language. This was never about education. This was about creating two Indians, one that flies first class and the one that's told not to dream. But we see through the script and we won't be silenced in any language. Let us know what you think about this in the comment section. With this and a lot more that's coming up, make sure that you stay tuned to the Fat Flag.